We are, am I on? Can you hear me? Okay. Uh, All right, we'll bring the meeting to order and have Miss Amanda please do the roll call.
Mr. Perkins. Chairman Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Williams. And Ms. Benson.
Thank you. I'm going to give everyone a break and want to say good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin the meeting, I want to just take a minute to reflect on something personal with me. I recently lost a really close friend, a good friend, far too young, in his early 50s. His passing was unexpected, and as often happens in moments like this, we reflect on our own life, and more specifically on the dash, the small line between the date of your birth and the date of your death. It's a symbol we often overlook, but it represents everything, every moment, every relationship, and every choice. Not long ago, my friend wrote a nice article about the dash and how you use your dash, and today I wanted to share some of those thoughts with you. Time is precious. It's a gift we often take for granted, assuming it will always be there, but how we use it shapes who we are and how we are remembered. So I invite everyone to pause for a moment, take a breath, and consider this question. Would you live your life any differently if you knew the last date, just like you know the first date? We spend 9 months preparing for the start of life. Ideally, we spend decades preparing for the end, not in fear, but in purpose. How we live in between, how we use the dash is what matters most. Linda Ellis wrote a poem about it called The Dash. And she says in that poem, so when your eulogy is read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say and how you spent your dash? Arthur Joseph Epstein said it this way, we do not choose to be born. We do not choose our parents or the country of our birth. We do not, most of us, choose to die, nor do we choose the time or condition of our death, but within the realm of choicelessness, we do choose how we live. So let us choose wisely, be a warrior, be a champion, live with intention, and create a dash that we're proud of. Please join me for a moment of prayer. Let us pray. Lord, as we gather today, help us be mindful of the gift of time and the way we spend that time. Guide our words and actions as we live and serve. Make us slower to anger and quicker to show appreciation. Help us to love those around us and treat everyone with respect and dignity. And remind us, even in the busiest moments, to simply smile, because the Dalai Lama said, a smile is the beginning of compassion. Amen. We move now to the adoption of the agenda. Would anybody like to add anything or subtract anything or correct anything? If not, can I get a motion? It is moved by Ms. Benson, second by Mr. Perkins. Please vote. Passes 4-0. We move now to public hearings, and we have none. We move now to open forum. I don't see that I have any speakers, and I have no pink slips, so we will move on. We move now to the Recycle Star, and Mr. Williams, will you choose? Thank you. Hand me that. Oh, you want to go ahead? Sure. Thank you very much. And thank Mr. and Mrs. Edgar for doing such a great job. Thank all of these people for doing a great job on recycle. I did notice that the city has started recycling again. I'm excited about it. I know it was a little bit of bumpy start, but they'll get it right, and it's gonna be great. I have an office down there, so I can't wait. Approval of the minutes. We move to the approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion? Nobody has any corrections? By Mr. Perkins, second by Ms. Benson. Please vote. Passes 4-0. Move now to the report of the ECUA Citizens Advisory Committee of July 15th, 2025. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a report of the ECUA Citizen Advisory Committee for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. Committee members were present. Myself, Ms. Benson, Ms. Campbell, Mr. Stevens, Kirshner, Mr. Kimball, Ms. Ritz, Dr. DiNanzio, Ms. Cromartie, Mr. Brown. 2 members absent, Mr. Moran and Mr. Perkins. Item F1 was the adoption of General Resolution GR 25-86, a general resolution authorizing the acceptance of bid and award of contract to Allied Universal Corporation of Miami, Florida for sodium hydrocolite and providing an effective date. It was motioned by Ms. Campbell, seconded by Dr. DiNanzio, and was approved by the board of a vote of 10-0. Adoption of General Resolution number GR 25-87, a general resolution authorizing the acceptance of bid and award of contract to Southern Ionics, Inc. of West Point, Mississippi for aluminum sulfate and providing an effective date. The motion was made by Ms. Campbell, seconded by Dr. DiNanzio, and approved by the board of a vote of 10-0. Adoption of General Resolution GR 25-93, a general resolution notifying the Board of Emergency Purchase with Access Industries for rehabilitation of the coating for the Watson Well granular activated carbon system. Motion was moved by Mrs. Campbell, seconded by Dr. DiNanzio, and approved by the board of a vote of 10-0. Adoption of General Resolution number GR 25-95, a general resolution authorizing the acquisition of granular activated carbon vessels from 2 suppliers for use at 2 well sites with funding from several projects and providing an effective date. The motion was made by Mrs. Campbell, seconded by Dr. DiNanzio, and approved by the board with a vote of 10-0. Adoption of General Resolution number GR 25-97. A general resolution authorizing a budget amendment to recognize proceeds received from the 3M PFAS settlement. Motion was made by Mrs. Campbell, seconded by Dr. DiNanzio, and approved by the board with a vote of 10-0. Adoption of General Resolution GR 25-101. A general resolution authorizing the executive director to sign an engineering services proposal for Municipal Engineering Services, Inc., for design of the piping of a new granular activated carbon system at the W and Avery well, authorizing the use of funds from CW0015 W and Wells GAC treatment. Motion made by Mrs. Campbell, seconded by Dr. DiNanzio, and approved by the board with a vote of 10-0. Madam Chair, I move that we approve the minutes from the CSC board.
So you want to move items 1 through 6 for approval?
Actually, that's what I would like to do, move items 1 through 6 for approval.
Thank you, sir. And second by Ms. Benson. Yes, ma'am. Can you turn your speaker on?
So sorry. Before we take the vote, I would ask that we ask Mr. Woody to highlight the agenda item regarding the PFAS settlement so that it's record for anyone.
Thank you. Mr. Woody.
The item that was discussed was the creation of a two new line items in the FY25 program budget. One acknowledging the receipt of settlement funds. This organization participated along with other public utilities across the United States in suing several different manufacturers of the PFAS chemical. This one was particularly about the lawsuit with 3M Company, the largest single producer of that chemical, because it is ubiquitous. It is located in groundwater across the United States. Now it's a challenge for all public utilities to have to deal with and treat. We sued on that basis to receive some funds to help us with the capital costs associated with treating that, which for us is the installation of granular activated carbon filter systems. So this is the first of 7 settlement checks we'll receive. The first 2 constitute about 60% of the entire settlement amount. This first check was for $4.9 million. It will be used for, again, the construction of granular activated carbon. So this resolution was to establish a line item that tracks the incoming revenue from settlements, and also a second line item to track capital expenses associated with treating for PFAS in our raw water.
And Madam Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
if I might just comment, I think it's very important that the public know the role of ECUA in the leadership in recognizing this chemical in our drinking water, taking action before it was mandated. And as board members, we can't take credit. It was our staff who recognized this and whose vigilance in protecting the public and our drinking water led to this, and we also took a lead in settlement that is, I just think it's important to tell the story of the people who work every day to make the water safe. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lois, for highlighting that too. Right, so we have items 1 through 6 for approval, highlighting that wonderful PFAS 3M settlement. Vote. Passes 4-0. That concludes your report, sir?
Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you. We move now to the consent agenda. I will read each item, let Bruce go over each item, Mr. Woody go over each item, and then we will vote on them as a whole. Item A is adoption of special resolution SR 25-08. It's a preliminary rate setting resolution providing for notice and public hearing concerning the proposed establishment of revised water and wastewater rates and charges for 2026. I'm going to do, you want to do A and B together? Yes, sir. Okay, so B is adoption of special resolution SR 2509, and that's a preliminary rate setting resolution providing for notice of public hearing concerning the proposed establish of revised sanitation service charges. So we'll let Mr. Woody talk about both of these at the same time.
Yeah, the reason it's appropriate to talk about both of them at the same time is they're very related subjects. The ECUA board, or the CAC, I should say, originally received a presentation on the proposed budget for FY26 at their June 24th, 2025 meeting. Subsequently, the ECUA board approved CAC's recommendation for that budget. Looking at all of the needs and proposed revenue to cover proposed expenses on capital improvement projects as well as operations, the ECUA staff recommend a rate increase of 3% for water and wastewater services. That is the subject of Special Resolution SR 2508. And then the following Resolution 25-09 is for sanitation rates, and likewise recommend a increase of 3% for sanitation services during the FY26 time period. This would, if approved by the board at the August meeting, would be effective October 1st. What today's resolution allows for is gives direction to the staff to put a notice to all ECUA customers in their ECUA bill of the proposed increase of 3%. Allows us to issue a press release identifying the public hearing meeting that will be held at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August 26th. That's your next board meeting, and allows us to put the same information on the ECUA website. Again, there will be a public hearing to hear any feedback from our ratepayers at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August 26th.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, did you
No, ma'am.
have, Ms. Benson?
Just to highlight, what is the current consumer price index increase?
Yep.
Afternoon, Ms. Campbell. The Consumer Price Index as of June 30th was 2.3% increase over the last 12 months. For the last several months, going back to March and April, it's been around a 2%, 1.92, and then it was 2.3 as of June. So it's not that prices have went down, but they are increasing slower, at a slower pace than what they were whenever we were seeing 7, 8.
Thank you, Ms. Benson. Do you want to continue?
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
May I add one other comment?
Yes.
Common question, an appropriate one, is what does 3% really represent? I hadn't made that comment yet. So the average residential customer consumes about 6,150 gallons of water per month. That was our last year's average. So the average residential water customer would see an increase of 99 cents a month, and the average residential wastewater customer would see an increase of $1.17. Those two add up to $2.16 if you have both water and wastewater services. Similarly, if you also have trash service with ECUA, 3% increase for a standard residential bill would be 77 cents per month. But if you have all three services, it would be $2.93.
Thank you. Mrs. Benson?
Thank you. And to follow up one other question, I guess I should have pulled this, but
Okay.
the camel's nose under the tent or something like that. So the city has just adopted a new recycling program that charges extra for that. Do you know how our rates would compare to the rates of a city resident who chooses to have recycling as well as regular sanitation services?
Didn't come prepared with that exact number, so I can't give you a dollars and cents response, but just off the top of my head, we're still a couple dollars underneath their rate month basis, and we provide bulk pickup at.
It would be worth getting that information so that we have it for next time. Thank you.
I wanted to say it was like $32 city, but I might be wrong. Okay. Perkins?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Ms. Benson had asked at one of the early meetings what we could do for the anticipation of the impact of tariffs. Most of these tariffs have not gone into effect. They're probably going into effect pretty soon. Some deadlines have been set, but they change a lot, but they have been set. And on certain areas, they've gone in. I noticed my coffee, my little Folgers thing of coffee was like $9. It was like $17 last time I went. I'm drinking a lot less coffee now, but I wouldn't be trying to lock into the current CPI on any kind of rate increase, because I think we're very likely to see that our 3% increase is probably going to be under the 2026 CPI if the tariffs go into effect.
Thank you. Appreciate the comments. I'm going to add one thing. I don't want people to ever think that we go lightly into rate hikes. So even though we did the final meeting 4th or June 24th, there were a total of 5 budget meetings this year that all of our CAC attended, and so they got to hear from every department. They got to go over the budget with a fine-tooth comb. The public was invited to all of those meetings, and I think it was a very good meetings, and they were very eye-opening to how closely we scrutinize this budget. So I wanted to add that in. I don't want people to ever think we go lightly into a rate hike. We have a lot of pipe underneath Gambia County. I think it's 2,000 miles would go from here to Canada if we put it end to end. So it's a lot of pipe to take care of. And we're growing. I saw recently that we're one of the 5 top places people want to live in the United States. I wish they'd quit posting that so people would quit moving here, but it's a lot of pipe to keep up with. So I appreciate staff going through all those budget meetings, and I appreciate the CAC coming and sitting through 5 of those budget meetings to make that very informative decision. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Yes, ma'am.
Follow up on Mr. Perkins' comment, because I'm very well aware of tariffs. Tariffs are hitting my business very hard. Much of my trade comes from Europe, and those things coming from Italy now are subject to a 50% rate increase. So the CPI, while it is a number that we pay attention to, I think this year, less than other years, is it an important thing to peg what we're doing on. I think the 3% is a responsible increase, looking at what our expected expenses are and so forth. And with the volatility right now of tariffs in other parts of the market, I think it's a conservative approach to a rate increase. The fact that everyone is watching what's going on and no one's sure about their family budget keeps our utility running at a responsible rate, and it's not egregious on our customers.
Thank you. Mr. Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. And I oftentimes like to tell my constituents that, for the record, ECUA does not get any ad valorem taxes, and the only way that we're able to provide excellent services through rate increases. So you may not see this in the city or the county or even on the school board, but it's necessary. And we just want to make sure that I emphasize that word excellent service so that they get more than their money's worth on a daily and routine basis from the water, wastewater, and sanitation services that we primarily provide. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lois, for also highlighting that tariff, because that was one thing Ms. Benson actually had to ask for a report on the tariffs and how they would affect. So the CAC got to take in all of that into account in those rate hikes. So we move, thank you, Mr. Smith. Move now to adoption of General Resolution GR 25-90, a resolution to purchase replacement equipment for the Regional Service Department, including mini excavator and 2 behind air compressors, and provide an effective date. Mr. Woody.
All equipment that gets frequent use eventually reaches the end of its useful lifespan and must be replaced. Are some really important equipment that we use on our Regional Services Division for work in maintaining our water distribution system and our wastewater collection system are mini excavators, of which we have 10 assigned to the Regional Services Department, and one of those is in need of replacement. We also have many multiples more of that of tow-behind air compressors that our staff use with pneumatic equipment such as boring tools, jackhammers, compaction equipment, and such as that. And this resolution proposes to accept a contract through Parish Tractor Company by way of our Sourcewell contract to just 1 mini excavator and 2 tow-behind air compressors. Both of these are replacement pieces of existing.
Thank you. Move now to item D, adoption of general resolution GR 25-91, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute a contract with Kimley Horn to perform the necessary field survey, data collection, and engineering work tasks for the replacement of a cast iron force main located in downtown Pensacola, authorizing the creation of a new project number and authorizing the transfer of project funds and providing an effective date. Mr. Woody, I think this one's right in front of City Hall, right?
Yes, it is. This resolution is for an engineering contract with Kimley Horn to do design work for the replacement of a very important force main that serves lift station number 2. If you turn to page 47 of your attachments, there's an illustration there of its location. It essentially runs down Zaragoza Street from lift station number 2, which is near the park downtown, and then runs west all the way over to the Government Street pump station, primarily along Zaragoza. It runs right past the courthouse and literally right underneath the front steps of City Hall on the south side of their building. When we get to construction, this is a $7 million project, very important project. And this contract right now is just for the engineering work in preparation for that future construction project.
Thank you, Mr. Woody. We move now to item E, adoption of general resolution GR 25-96, a general resolution authorizing the second option, one-year contract extension of CIP projects R1705, cured in place pipe, sanitary sewer rehabilitation annual contract 2023 with Suncoast Infrastructure, Inc. for sanitary sewer mainlining and excavating repairs, and authorize an increase in the contract value and the use of $2,900,000 from CIP projects R1705. Mr. Woody.
We have an existing contract with Suncoast that was bid in November of '23. That original contract included 3 optional one-year contract extensions. This resolution proposes award of the second one-year contract extension at the same unit prices we've been paying since the original bid amount. We do nearly $10 million worth of this work annually. This particular extension is for $2.9 million, and we'll be utilizing funds that are already in the existing budget.
Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It says an increase in contract value, and we are getting an increase in services received or the price of the contract increase?
This contract is based on a unit price. It's so many dollars per foot depending on the diameter of the pipe that's being relined. So we have a series of unit prices. We will give them a list of proposed projects and locations at a proposed value. They will go through that long list, several $1 million worth. When they've completed that work, then if we have the next step list that we're already prepared to give to them, we'll provide them that next list, and we'll come back to the board and saying we're ready to go with the next group. Here's the locations at the same unit prices based on the contract, and we're funding the contract in this particular case for an additional $2.9 million. You'll see us do this a couple of times during the course of the year as we provide additional funding for the next round of projects.
So did the contract agreement stay the same?
The contract unit price stays the same.
Okay.
We just provide them new additional locations that they do at that unit price.
Okay.
Good question, Mr. Williams. I had the same question. Adoption, item F, adoption of general resolution GR 25-98, a general resolution authorizing the approval of the revised Emerald Coast Utility Authority investment policy. Buddy.
This is a general resolution to adopt a revision to our investment policy. Periodically, this gets reviewed by our finance department, and from time to time we make revisions, particularly as things either change in the market and/or things change in rules and regulations. This proposed update provides some additional definitions on investment types, as well as updating and formatting some tables for ease of use. This policy continues to place a top priority on safety of principle, first and foremost, followed by liquidity, followed by then return on investment.
Thank you. Mr. Williams? Did you have a question?
Yes, a couple of questions. One would be the obvious, no Bitcoin involvement here, correct?
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Yes, that is correct. There's no cryptocurrency of any kind allowed in our investment policy.
And can you explain to me how derivatives work?
I could explain to you how they work, but it would be easier if I just told you that they're not allowed in our investment policy either. So
Okay.
we don't mess around with derivatives. It's a speculative investment. You know, investments that have derivatives, they have future options and calls that are pegged on secondary markets. They're way too risky for a government to invest in.
So our permitted investments are generally treasury bonds that yield whatever the rate of interest rate paid.
Correct. And we have minimum requirements on them, so it's highly, very safe. Most of our investment portfolio in the corporate sector are AAA rated corporate bonds. I mean, we have some AA and some single A rated, but everything that we invest in is at least A rated. Don't even go into like the B+, which is still considered investment grade by like an institutional investor. If you had a B or a B+ rating, that's still considered investment grade. That's not a junk fund. We don't even get to that level. We stay.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Good questions. And just so the audience knows, legally, we must keep reserves, and this board and the ECUA staff have always done a good job during my time on this board. Kudos to financial staff, administration, and the attorney for reviewing important policies like this. Staying abreast in quickly changing world is good practice when you're in charge of other people's money.
Oh, yes.
We move now to adoption of General Resolution GR 25-99, which is a general resolution authorizing acceptance of bid and rewarding a contract, authorizing the executive director to execute a contract with Quality Enterprises USA, Inc. for $4,538,708 for construction of Pensacola Beach Reclaimed Water Main Phase 1B, Part 2, and the redundant water main project, authorizing a grant agreement with FDEP. Mr. Woody, want to tell us about this next phase?
There's a map on page 109 that shows the locations of this proposed project. This project is the second part of a dual 12-inch and 16-inch reclaimed water pipeline that will convey reclaimed water from the Pensacola Beach Water Reclamation Facility back over to the reclaimed water tank and then back into the collection system. You'll remember we've done several phases prior to this. First, construction of the tanks. Most recently, we did the phase that went under Fort Pickens Road and started going east down via DeLuna. This will now tie those pieces together. The reason we're doing this is because Florida Senate Bill 64 was passed back in 2021, requires all public and private utilities to no longer dispose of effluent by way of surface water. Right now, although we treat to advanced wastewater treatment standards, we do discharge to the sound. The goal of this and a series of projects altogether is to use our discharge effluent as water that can be used by adjacent property owners and the SRIA for irrigation along via DeLuna. therefore be a beneficial reuse.
Thank you, Mr. Woody. Now to item H, adoption of general resolution GR 25-100, a general resolution authorizing an extension of the small-scale utility projects 2023 annual contract with Roberson Underground Utility, LLC.
Roberson Underground has performed this work for us for a while now. They've do a very fine job. Original contract on September 14th of 23. We keep a contract for small repairs to award a contract on time and materials basis in order to do small installations, repairs, relocations, times when we're either busy or there's some unique circumstances that would make it more easily done by a small contractor. The contract may be, the original one from 23 may be extended in one-year increments up to a maximum of 3 increments. This would proposal for an agreement that will have 3 one-year extensions. The original one was in 23. This will be the second one-year extension of this contract.
Thank you, Mr. Woody. We move now to adoption of general resolution.
Campbell.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Williams.
Thank you. Just a simple question. Small scale, can you define small scale?
Probably projects in values of a few $1,000s up to, what would you say, Brian, maybe under 100, usually probably under 50, actually. They're usually relatively small. If they're larger than 50, we come back to.
And what kind of equipment?
Say if we have a project where we have a force main in a unique location, it's out in the road, and because we're busy with a lot of other projects and it involves a lot of traffic control and some other things, we'll hire Roberson to do that.
Okay.
It can also be some smaller projects. If we've got too many projects that are piling up and we're not keeping up, they'll help us get caught up.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Welcome. We move now to item I, adoption of general resolution GR 25-102, an award of invitation to bid 2025-18 for the purchase of Valvoline 15W40 Premium Blue, One Solution General 2 engine oil, and AW68 hydraulic oil for ECUA's fleet of operations.
This is just for the purchase of engine oil and hydraulic fluid that's used by our fleet operations group. We only had 2 submittals, but one of them didn't meet or were non-responsive because they only provided those estimates for a non-conforming product and didn't meet our specifications. Our recommendation is to award a bid to Davison Fuels and Oil, responsive bid again for engine oil and hydraulic fluid.
No lights. We move to item J, adoption of general resolution GR 25-103, a general resolution authorizing an increase in the amount of $30,000 on the blanket purchase order number 2025-0181-001 for Pro Clean Restoration and Cleaning to provide adequate funding for mitigation and repairs related to general liability claims. Mr. Woody.
We're getting toward the end of the year, and sometimes some line items need some additional funds to make it to the end of the year. We have a fund specifically for liability claims. If we have a wastewater backup, a spill, maybe we're cleaning a line and have a problem that results in some damage at an adjacent property, then we will hire ProClean in this particular case, but whoever we happen to have contract with that particular year to provide some mitigation and cleanup. Our estimates to cover costs we have existing plus to finish to the end of September, we're requesting additional $30,000 in that line.
Questions? We move to item K, adoption of General Resolution GR 25-104, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to renew and execute an attorney employment agreement with Litvak, Beasley, Wilson, and Ball LLP for attorney services at specified rates and providing an effective date.
As you know, we contract for our services for legal services and attorney services, as well as litigation services. Litvak, Beasley, Wilson, and Ball is the professional service company that provides those services. This resolution is a recommendation for a one-year extension at our current rates. By the way, they provide an excellent service. Really appreciate it. Member of that organization. They're great to work with.
Books with a little tabs that made me happy. Okay, do we have anyone wanting to hold any items? Time.
Yes, Madam Chair. Item 9C.
Other items to be held? If not, do I have a motion to move items A, B, and D? Okay. By Mrs. Benson and second by Mr. Perkins. Please vote. Passes 4-0. Back to item C, adoption of General Resolution GR 25-90, a resolution to purchase replacement equipment for the Regional Services Department, including a mini excavator and 2 air compressors, and provide effective date. Mr. Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Did we purchased a tractor last month? Or was it an excavator?
We purchased a D3 bulldozer.
A bulldozer? Okay.
Which has metal tracks on the side.
Yes.
This is a mini excavator. It's about the size of a car in terms of its length. Obviously a lot taller. So it has a cab on it, but it's a miniature version of a backhoe, except it's mounted on tracks. Those tracks are rubber, so they can operate on pavement as well as in people's yards without tearing things up because of their low ground pressure. And they can excavate to about 14 feet, maybe.
14 feet?
That's maximum reach. We don't probably use them beyond 8 or 9.
Okay.
Usually 3 or 4.
And these are all replacement parts for items that have just...
Yeah, this is an entirely new piece of equipment to replace another one that we're taking out of service. This isn't just parts. This is an entirely new mini excavator.
Right, for the excavator that we have that has ran its course, done its job. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
we've got about 10 of them, so the worst one is going out of the fleet.
And that was the other question about the compressors.
Air compressors, I don't know how many you have of those. I'll have to defer to Ryan.
There's a picture
Quite
of
a
this
few.
one.
A good point. There are pictures here. At least of the
Compressor there
compressor.
is. Yes, sir, Mr. Bryan.
Is it okay if I answer the
Yes, sir.
question?
Thank you.
We have probably eight, nine. Each group has, each region has 2 or 3, depending on the size of the region. Probably the most common use is for running a water service line across the road. You hook up what's called a pneumatic ram or a mole, more commonly. You have one hole on one side of the road, a hole on the other side of the road, and you bore a hole across and pull the water service tubing. But they're also used for jackhammers and other pneumatic tools. We use them pretty steadily.
Okay. Okay, these are replacing 2 that currently just done their job. And they're
Yes, sir. I believe they're both in the, around 30 years old.
30 years old?
Yeah, yes. We've,
Okay.
I think we've gotten a good use out of it.
Okay. So they came from somewhere else?
Yeah, well, we bought them. One of them was 96, the other one was 97.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Do they make them any quieter now?
I think they're a little quieter.
They've been using one out in front of my office on Garden Street. I've got a pure headache. Thank you, Brian.
The compressor themselves generally are not too loud.
Just
It's
the jackhammer.
It's the air exiting the piece of equipment that makes all the noise.
Williams, do you have anything further on that one? Would anyone like item C for? Second by Mr. Williams, please vote. That has been a really smooth operation, though. They send me an email, and it passes 4-0. Send me an email every Sunday telling me what's coming all week long, so. We move now to the budget report for June 2025 year-to-date. Available, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon. We've got the year-to-date available budget report as of June 30th, 2025, which is 75% through our fiscal year that ends on September 30th. For the water and wastewater, we are right at 65% of our annual budget, and sanitation and MRF, we've used 69% of our annual, right in line with our questions.
Don't see any questions. Nothing seemed whack there. Right in line with where we need to be. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Now to item 11, Executive Director's Report. Mr. Woody.
I just have one item. You may remember that one of our big capital projects this last 13, 14 months has been the rehabilitation of the Bayou Marcus Boardwalk. Originally constructed almost 25 years ago, that facility serves two purposes. One, it serves as a carrier for the distribution system of our discharge to the wetlands that we're rehabilitating in that area. Equally important, however, we constructed that back 25 years ago in partnership with the state to create a really nice birding trail. There's nearly 1.5 miles or maybe a little more of boardwalk, elevated boardwalk through these wetlands facilities. It's really a beautiful walk. If you haven't been, anybody in our audience that's listening hasn't been out there before. But over time, 25 years, the old pressure treated wood has gotten old and weathered. So we made a reinvestment to completely redeck and put in new railings as well on this lengthy size of boardwalk. We also upgraded our distribution system at the same time from the old style pipe to a stainless steel, something a little more resilient, so we won't have to do that type of rehabilitation in the future. Altogether, almost a $3.9 million investment, and we're really pleased to be able to open that back up to the public. So next Wednesday at 9 a.m., July 30th, we're going to have a ribbon cutting at that facility. If you'd like to, anybody listening here, and we'll be sending out press releases as well. We'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit about that investment and then officially open it back up to the public.
Very nice long walk. I don't suggest you go in the heat, but I suggest in October. It's a wonderful mile, over a mile. Nice walk out and see all kind of creatures out there.
That project was managed by Jerry Piscopo and his staff.
Yeah.
Appreciate their work.
I remember when Sonny was out there, they had little rabbits. I don't know if they still have the rabbits out there. for all kind of creatures, in the water, snakes and gators and pretty interesting walk.
For the record, Madam Chair, restate the, of,
It's at the, do you have the address there, Bruce?
It's on Fail. I don't, right off of Blue Angel Parkway. I don't remember the numerical address off the top of my head.
It's at our
Yes.
treatment plant there.
It's, yeah, it's right at the entrance of our Bayou Marcus Water Reclamation Facility. If you go to the intersection of Blue Angel Parkway and Fail is spelled F-A-Y-A-L, just two blocks to the west is the entrance to our facility as well as the entrance to the boardwalk.
Real close to Muldoon, if you know where that light is, that Muldoon. There you go.
Yeah, we have a sign there if you keep an
Right
eye
when you
out
come
for it.
in, it's to the right. Move now to item 12, the attorney's report. Mr. Pugh.
Nothing from the attorneys.
Thank you. We like when you have nothing. We move now to unfinished business. Do I have any unfinished business? Have it, Ms. Benson? Having none, we move to item 15, board communication, and Ms. Benson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The discussion about the PFAS made me think that, there's been press about this on a number of occasions, and information about pots and pans that you should or shouldn't, spatulas that are black, and this and that and the other. It would be nice if we had an insert that just talked about some of the household products that should be avoided with the PFAS, or a link on our website to some information regarding that. In the past, there have been articles, but I haven't seen any lately. I'm quite sure I'm using things that are not good for us. So if we could do that, and I'm not going to make it as it just is.
Recommend staff. Okay. Nothing further. We move on to our second open forum. I have no pink slips. I need a motion for the next thing, which is by Mr. Perkins, second by Ms. Benson. Please vote. No. Passes 3-1.